a chamber, I would call it a fitness movement, something while we're all quarantined that we can do. My name is Brian Rupp. I'm the owner of OsteoStrong Lake Mary. This is...
I am Cherie. I'm the center director.
So this is the awesome Cherie. So what we're going to do today, for the first 5 minutes, we're just going to walk you through what we actually do at OsteoStrong. We have one of the most unique services that I can say here in Orlando. We're the only center in Orlando that we focus on skeletal strength conditioning. What that means is when we make the bones stronger, we actually make the tendons and ligaments healthier and denser too. So people that suffer from osteoporosis or osteopenia, a lot of women or people over age 50 have this disease. We can help begin to reverse that around and make the bones stronger naturally. On top of that, we have a lot of athletes that come in. Triathletes are members of ours. Just people that are involved in weekend warriors, call them. And they come in, their knees hurt, their back pain, they may have tendon and just their tendons and joints are just, they're worn out. And so one of the things that Cherie's going to put me through is a session for the next 5 minutes so you can see what it is we actually do at OsteoStrong. Then we're going to see what we're going to do afterwards.
And then afterwards, we're going to go through some stretches. That is great for you that you can do at home. We're also going to implement them here. If you see, we have what we call the vibe play. Every session starts off on the vibe play. So we'll get the session started now. We're going to get Brian to jump on the
I got this feeling inside my bones. It goes electric wavy when I turn it on. All through my city, all through my home. We're flying up, no ceiling when we in our zone. I got that sunshine in my pocket, got that good soul in my feet. I feel that hot blood in my body when it drops. Ooh, I can't take my eyes off of it, moving so phenomenally. You're more like the way we rock it, so don't stop. And under the lights when everything goes, nowhere to hide when I'm getting you close. When we move, well, you already know. So just imagine. Nothing I can see but you when you dance, dance, dance. Feel good, good creeping up on you. So just dance, dance, dance. Come on. All those things I shouldn't do, but you dance, dance, dance. And ain't nobody leaving soon, so keep dancing. I can't stop the feeling. So just dance, dance, dance. I can't stop the feeling. So just dance, dance, dance. Come on. Ooh, it's something magical. It's in the air, it's in my blood, it's rushing on. I don't need no reason, don't be control. I fly so high, no ceiling when I'm in my zone. Cause I got that sunshine in my pocket, got that good soul in my feet. I feel that hot blood in my body when it drops. Ooh, I can't take my eyes off of it, moving so phenomenally. You're more like the way we rock it, so don't stop, stop, stop. Under the lights when
Alright, great. So we just finished up showing what we do here at OsteoStrong, and we wanted to share that to you because we do have something very unique here that can really help a lot of people in this community. But the real reason why we came was, the chamber reached out. We're so grateful that they reached out because they want to add value to all the members in the chamber and bring the community together and keeping us active and healthy. And while we're all quarantined, and there's a lot of stress right now that people are feeling, financial stress, family stress, jobs, and we're stuck at home, many of us. So what they want to do is every Friday we're bringing some type of activity, whether it's boot camps, yoga. What we're going to do today is just help you go through some movements to de-stress yourself. These are some movements that we do here at OsteoStrong, and we're going to incorporate some other ones that relieve pressure from your neck, your shoulders, and these are things that you can do at home. What we find is many people, they're sitting behind the desk all the time. So that's me. I'm behind a desk. Shoulders are starting to become hunched over. Right. We're on our cell phones all the time. So we want to bring back posture. We know that a lot of people's ailments that they have nowadays are really posture related. So if we can work on posture, bring the shoulders back, take some of the stress off of it, we're gonna help people. So we have about 10 to 12 moves we're gonna go through, and we will list the moves on as we go through them on the page. And let's get started. Have some fun. So You don't need any equipment. All you really want, you need maybe a chair, and we will use a mat and a wall. So you shouldn't break a sweat. And when you get done, you're gonna feel great. So let's do the very first thing.
Okay.
We're gonna do 4 body checks. So what we're gonna ask you to do is stand up, and I just want you to close your eyes. So let's close your eyes, and we'll do this together. So the first thing I want to ask you is put your hands by your side, relax your upper body, deep breath in, exhale out. So what I want to ask you, I want to ask Sheree. Sheree, when you're doing this, how does your feet, your balance, where do you find the majority of your weight right now? Do you find it shifting to your left foot, your right foot? Where's the weight shifting in your body at home?
It's shifting to my left.
Okay, some people may be balanced, so one of the things we want to understand is where's the weight in proportion in your body? So it's going to the left. Is your weight more to the front on your toes, or is it more you lean back on your heels? Some people are always leaning forwards. How about you, Sheree?
I'm going to the forward.
So she's leaning more forward to the left. So there's nothing right or wrong about that. We're just trying to understand how your body's actually positioned. So that's one of the tests. The second one is, many times we look at stress. You hear all the time people are getting massages, their necks and their shoulders are tense.
At the red lights.
Yes, so we're always rolling around and rub our shoulders or necks. So let's right now just kind of get back to that same posture. Eyes are open. Let's just take our necks to the left, roll to the left, rolling it to the right. Does one side feel loose or more stiff than the other side? There's no right or wrong answer. It's just for you to kind of get a gauge of what's going on in your body.
And when you're doing this, don't force it. Don't force it down and seeing how far you can. As Brian said, it's just a gauge, so be sure not to force something. And if it doesn't feel right, do not do it.
Yeah, so when we think about a bullwhip, I heard this analogy one time. The bullwhip, you have a base of the bullwhip. The bullwhip, the base, the handle is actually going to be our pelvic, our hips, down here in our psoas muscles. That's the handle. And the whip itself is going to be our neck and our head. So a lot of times if our neck, the whip part is stiff, it's going to affect the rest of the body. So the second part is let's look at our spinal flexibility. All we're going to do is move to the left. We're just going to move to the right. Back to the left. Back to the right. Just kind of look how that flexibility is. There's nothing right or wrong there, but we'll do this again when we finish these movements that we're going to put you through today, and we'll see how the test, how you feel afterwards. And the fourth movement, just want to get a gauge, is when you bend over, do you bend over using more of your upper body, or are you using your pelvic bone? So let's go ahead and take a look at what that looks like. When you bend over to touch your knees, your shins, your toes, are you rounded like I'm demonstrating now, where most people are using it? Or maybe I'll show you where Sheree does. Sheree, when she bends over, she's really coming from the pelvic area, her hips. So it's engaged, her butt's coming out, rolling down, and she has this nice flat back that's taking place there. Nothing right or wrong, but we just know, I sit a lot. I'm sitting at the desk in meetings. So because I'm sitting, shoulders starting to hunch over, tight psoas, tight hamstrings. So a lot of times when I bend over, touch, I'm rolling. So we're gonna work on those here today. So let's get started. So we have about 10 to 12 moves we're gonna walk you through. We're gonna start with standing movements first that you can do at home. You can do in your kitchen. You can do in your living room right now. So let's really start with the first one. We're gonna do a standing quad stretch. So Trey, why don't you walk through with this with me here? So I'm gonna put my right quad up. And my right quad's up.
So what you'll notice, his right quad is up, his right foot is balanced onto a chair. What we're looking for here for a great stretch is to make sure the knees are together. You don't want one knee out in front or the knee in back. You want them together. Then you want to do a pelvic tilt. So Brian's going to do a pelvic tilt, and that's just tilting your booty under. And he's going to roll his shoulders back and stand tall. There you go. You're going to keep breathing. The leg that he is standing on is going to remain soft. He's not going to lock that knee up. And he's going to hold that pose, and you're going to keep reminding yourself, pelvic tilt. You're going to tilt under, shoulders back. And it's kind of like when you do the machines here, we're constantly reminding you because we want to make sure the form is perfect and you're getting the best out of it. If you cannot get your leg up on something that high, we have the smaller where you can just prop your foot up on that, Or if you're advanced and you want to take it a little bit more, work more with your balance, you can just put your foot up. But again, knees together, pelvic, tilt under, and you're just looking straight, shoulders back.
So we're going to do each side for 1 minute, so that was my right side. Now, as I mentioned earlier when we were doing the machines, I have a bad left knee. I've had multiple 2 meniscus tears. So I'm going to bring my left knee up. I'm going to have to go out a little bit more to get a little more flexibility. And she made 2 adjustments to me. So she made the first one saying, bring my pelvic bone in. I was sticking it back out. I need to bring it in, tuck it in, and then I need to roll my shoulder blades back. So pinching the shoulder blades, shoulders go down and back. And those little adjustments she made, I could feel it instantaneously. I was kind of cheating before. All I was doing was getting a little stretch. But when she said bring the pelvic in, I brought it in, shoulders were back. I engaged more of the alignment of my body.
And the biggest thing to remember also, you doing what is easiest or best for you. You don't have to be up in the chair. You can use the seat of the chair. You can use an ottoman, or you can even use something lower. If you just can start with your foot back, that's good. But again, you want to keep that pelvic tilt happening, keeping those shoulders back.
And if you need something for balance, grab something to hold on to in front of you. So we're going to do a minute for each side, and then we're going to switch.
Perfect.
So Sharita, our next activity is we're going to do what are called standing arm circles. You probably remember these from middle school, and you probably haven't done them maybe in 20, 30, 40 years. As rudimentary and basic as they seem, this is one of the greatest movements that you can do that really takes pressure off the shoulders and the neck here. So what we want to do is, let's go ahead and make a grip. We're going to bring our fingers in and bring our thumbs down. Hands to our side, shoulders back. We're going to bring our hands up, out to the side, and just go ahead and bring them back, pinching our shoulder blades together. So we want to work the shoulder blades and drop the shoulders down away from our ears. And we're just going to begin to rotate forward for 30 times. So 30, 29, 28. So we're going to do this for 30 times. If you want to go for 1 minute, you can do that on your own. For this session only, we're just going to do 30 times. So let's say 10. Not really keeping count, but the idea is for you to have a video that you can do on your own. That's another 10, 20. Let's just go do 10 more forward. Okay. Keep it going. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. So we're just trying to pinch the shoulder blades back, taking that pressure off our neck and our shoulders. Great. We're going to drop our hands back down to our side. Let's go ahead and keep make sure your feet, sorry, I did not mention that. Your feet should be about fist width apart, going straight. So they shouldn't be pigeon-toed, they shouldn't be out. We want to have them straight, fist width apart. So again, we're going to punch our fingers, bring it together our side. Shoulders go back and down. So let's work on that posture. Hands are coming up to the side. We're going to roll palms facing up. So while we're here, this is a good time just to go and work on that form again. Bring the shoulder back, pinching the shoulder blades. And now we're going to begin rotating. So we're going to do counterclockwise. Counterclockwise. Feel that stretch in the back here. We're working to bring the tension out of the neck and the shoulders as we do this. Again, we're going to do it 30 times. So let's do 7, 8, 9, 10. Shoulders back. Keep focus on the shoulder blades pinching together.
Now you can really feel your shoulder blades pressing against each other.
You want the chest out. The shoulders are continue to be in focus going down. The shoulder blades should be pinching. When you get done with this movement, you're going to feel a lot of the pressure coming out from the upper body there in the back. Let's go 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. So we want you to do 30 each one of those. Maybe do 2, 3 rounds of those on your own here. So the next, what we're going to do is standing overhead extension. So again, we want the feet fist width apart, going straight. We're going to interlock the hands in front of you. Let's bring the shoulders back. Sure, I'll walk you through this one here. So what I'm going to do is we're going to bring the hands extended up above our heads, opening the palms facing out. I want our chin coming up. We're going to look up as far as you can go. A lot of people are tense in this area, so please go at your own discretion here. And what I want to begin to watch, we bring the video over here. So why don't you start trying to bring down the shoulders here and relax that there. We want the arms trying to be locked out. But as she brings the shoulders down, it was really easy for it to come up, and the shoulders, if you watch up here, the shoulders are going up. Instead of them coming up, they start there, but I'm asking her just trying to start bringing them, dropping them down. Again, working to pinch the shoulder blades together. As she's doing that, she should be releasing some of the stress that she's having in her neck, and her upper back, and her shoulder area here. So we're gonna hold that. If you find yourself that you can't get that full stretch, with your chin facing up, just find what works for you. Good job, Shirley. So we're just gonna hold it here. Let's go 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. So you're gonna do a minute of those. If you want to do 1 or 2, 3 rounds, you can, but just try to hold it for a minute. Again, chin is up. You're looking for a full extension, but focus on bringing the shoulders down too as you have that extension up. And we're gonna be pinching the shoulder blades. How do you feel for that?
I love it. I love it. I feel like I need to do a little shaking out, shaking out.
Yeah, so we're releasing all that stress that's been built up in our upper bodies from work and everything that we do in life.
That feels
So
great.
the next one we're going to do is standing wall twist.
Yes.
Why don't you walk me through this, Patricia, and we'll come over to the wall. So all you need is a flat wall, not much
Hopefully
equipment.
everybody has that. So what you want to do is put your heel to your toe, so heel to toe, and then you're going to gently twist to face the wall.
So you want to be about 6 to 8 inches from the wall when you do this.
And you're going to put your hands on the wall, bring your hands a little closer, and you're just going to sit there and twist. Hold the twist, making sure you don't overexert it, and just hold. How does that feel?
Feels great. So one of the things you want to do too is, again, pinching the shoulder blade, bring the shoulders down and back in this movement. And then you mentioned last time, we want to tighten the quads, yes, tighten the quads. So you want to get them engaged here.
And again, each move is a minute, so you would hold that for a minute. Nicely done, nicely done.
So this goes back to one of the first moves we talked about, moving from left to right. We're getting a full spine stretch.
And if you need to lower your hands because your hands are too high, and that's what's causing your shoulders to raise, then lower your hands a little bit more. And then after whatever you do right or left, you have to switch and do the other way. So
when I was doing this, one of the movements that I was trying to work on me when I was going through this was, I was turned, I was working on bringing my shoulders down and back, and I was actually engaging my thighs. So I was activating this the entire time when that turn. So I'm gonna switch the other way. Again, heel to toe, 6 to 8 inches, and I'm a little bit more stiff on this side, so I don't have as much flexibility. Hands to your chest. We're just gonna turn. How's my back and shoulders?
dropping the shoulders down. And again, if you find that your shoulders are up, you can drive your arms down and drive your elbows back just a little, and that's going to help release some of the tension in the back. And this is also a good time for you to focus on your breathing. How are you breathing? Are you breathing in your nose, out your mouth? There's several different types of, when you talk about yoga, several different ways that you can breathe. So in your nose, out your mouth, in your mouth, out your mouth. So do what is best for you. And it's kind of a nice time too just to close your eyes, because your body will take over here and focus on yourself.
So Sheree, as I'm doing this, I'm feeling a lot of my side becoming unlocked. So I felt like I had a lot of tension going down my lower lumbar. And as I'm doing that stretch, I felt some releasing going on in there. So I just felt like my back started to open up. So, okay, so the last movement, this is standing wall clock. So Sheree, I'm gonna put you through this test.
Okay.
So this is one of my favorite movements to do. While we come back over to the wall. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna bring back to the clenching the fist. We're gonna bring the fingers in, thumbs in. And I'm gonna ask you to go forward to the wall like this. If she can, I'm gonna ask her to roll her hands out. Dropping the shoulders down, we're gonna bring them down. We're gonna begin to release from the bilateral all the way up to the shoulders and the neck. So what we're gonna do is, Sheree's got great posture. Her head is perfect. She's right up against the wall. Sheree, how are you feeling when you begin with that posture there?
It feels good.
Sheree has great flexibility, as you can see. This is very challenging for me. Sheree, why don't you switch and I'll do it, but I'll show you my flexibility so everybody can see that. Someone that's very flexible and limber versus someone that is a little bit more stiff. So I'll show you how it looks for me. So I'll start with my hand on my side. I'll bring it up and I'll try to just open it up. And if you were to feel my back, you feel my back, how tight it is.
So you can see even through his shirt right here.
That's opening everything in my shoulders.
That's awesome.
Everything in my shoulders and my back is just opening up right now. So what we're going to do is you're going to hold that there for 45 seconds to a minute. Do what you can to feel comfortable. That's round one. Round two, sorry, I'm going to do me because you're so flexible. So I'm sure most people from the chamber are stiff and stressed. So I'll put myself through this. So again, everyone, the feet fist width apart. Look at the wall, and now we're going to go to a 45-degree angle. So again, hands aside, we're bringing them up, but just try to open them out. When you do this, you're going to feel all the releasing going on the lateral side of your lat muscle. So we're going to hold this for about 45 seconds to a minute. Sheree, how does that look?
It looks good. How does it feel?
You feel my back right now?
Yeah, I can see it. There you go. Yeah.
Wow.
And listen, and if you have someone that you can do this at home with, you can actually watch each other do it, and you can see when the rise, and I don't know, every now and then I can see where his shoulders start rising, and all you got to do is touch it, and that brings awareness.
I can feel my back releasing just from doing that. So that was round two, and this is round three. We're going to go to 90-degree angle. So again, kind of just relax. Bring your feet this width apart. We're going to come out. Hands are up. Come to the wall. Just try to open it up.
There you go.
I'm working to bring those shoulders down. Try to pinch the shoulder blades.
And you can see, if you, with his shirt, you can see right here are his shoulder blades, and they are coming together.
They're trying.
Nice. How's that feel?
I'm unlocking.
Well, and if you think about the move, you think about the skeletal bones or keys or anything, what do? You do turn when you open something up. So that's exactly what he's doing here. Here's natural. He's trying to turn and open this whole area up. Nice.
So you're going to do that for 45 seconds to 1 minute. Do what you feel comfortable. Now we're going to go down to the floor. All right, so we just got to do 5 movements for the upper body, the shoulders, the neck, some of the twisting that we're going to talk about with the spinal. And we're going to go down now to the floor and do 3 to 4 movements. Just if you have a mat, somewhere at your home, you can do these. So what we're going to do is we'll start with the ecstatic extension position. So I'm going to get down on my knees. And all we're going to do is we're going to start off with your hands underneath your shoulders. And we're going to go out about 6 inches. Move your hands out 6 inches and bring your upper body over your hands. We're going to shift out. The legs should be in about a 30-degree angle. Sheree, why don't you look at my shoulders, see what's happening? I'm going to drop my head down.
So how do you know if you're in the right spot is you want to make sure that you're lining your shoulders up with your wrists. So instead of your hands lining up with your shoulders line up with your wrists. He's going to drop the chin to his chest. And as we talked, we always say pelvic tilt. Well, you're going to do the reverse of a pelvic tilt. You're going to release it. So do a pelvic tilt. You can see when he does a pelvic tilt, the lower part raises. We want to let that drop in. And that is a stretch that, again, hold in for 45 seconds to a minute. And if
How are my
you,
shoulders right now?
your shoulders, yeah, his shoulders, you can see his shoulders are literally caved in. Here's my finger. You can see it literally fits in the back of his shoulder blades.
What you don't want to do is be in this position here. And what you may find is you may be getting more pressure on your lumbar. So we want to take it out of there by leaning forward, dropping your head down, dropping your shoulders in, pinching the shoulder blades, and then the pelvic as Sheree was saying.
So, and you always want to make sure you feel this. Now, if you do not want to go down on a mat and you have a chair, you can do the same moves on a chair. If you think what he said, first his shoulders and hands were lined up. He stepped out, his arms, I'm going to step out my legs. And then I'm just going to lean back and do the same thing. And then I'm going to press myself up. Now my shoulder blades are squeezing together. And instead of pelvic tilt, I'm releasing that. And I'm just looking down. So again, you would just come out, press yourself up, drop it down.
Now, if you want to get one more variation to this movement here, while your head is down, pelvic is out, shoulders are back, dropping in, you can just open up the arms here.
Oh, that's very cool. If you can see right here, he's actually rotating by turning just the elbows. His hands are not moving. He is actually opening up some of the shoulder blade movement and bringing it back in. That's very cool. And you could probably feel that into your muscles as well.
Oh, yeah.
So that's a good back exercise altogether.
All right.
Nice.
Always feels good. That feels great. All right, so what we're going to do next is we're going to go into the upper spinal floor twist. So why don't I demonstrate this and you kind of coach me through it?
Yes.
So I'm going to go on my back. I'm going to move my legs over to a 90-degree angle. Hands are going to be together.
And so one thing I want you to make sure is that your feet and your knees are together. You have them in balance, as well as your head is neutral. Okay.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open my hand up. I'm going to bring my other hand down to hold my knees together. You know, I'm going to get to rotate over as I can.
And this is a lot of the flexibility, and this is where you don't want to be careful, or you do want to be careful not to force it. And every time you inhale through your nose, you exhale, and you get a little bit more twist. You want to make sure that your shoulders are not locked in. You want to release that area. Again, this is all about the torso rotation. So you just keep breathing, and if you notice when he inhales and exhales, his arms are able to come a little bit lower, his neck turns a little bit more. And you're always looking to where you go. We talk about that in OsteoStrong a lot with adaptive response. If it's cold outside, you shiver. If it's hot, you sweat. Well, you look where you're going. There you go. And as he continues inhaling and exhaling, he's bringing it to the floor. His shoulder is relaxed. And he's probably an inch from the floor, whereas when he started, he was up higher. So this is definitely a stretch you have to be patient with and not force it. It may take a couple of times doing this. It may take 4 or 5 times. But the most important part is breathing and taking it to let your body tell you what's best.
So you're going to do 1 minute to the one side, and this is a spinal twist, so be very careful because a lot of our bodies are just tight. So as you can see, my shoulder and my spine, my lats were very tight, and I had very little movement. As I started opening it up, it became more flexible. So I'm going to go to the other side. I'm going to bring it over, 1 minute.
And then his hands go to go, there you go. And as you can see, he's a lot, that either twisted him out good or he's more flexible on this side. So he's going to hold that position. He's going to continue breathing. If, again, you don't want to be on the mat, can you do this on a chair? Absolutely. All you're going to do is sit on the chair sideways, and you can see Brian's got his hand on his knee, and then we're just going to take the arm and twist, and you're looking where you're going. So again, if you're sitting, cross your hand over, continue breathing. Find a holding spot, and you are squeezing somewhat the shoulder blades together towards the back.
Yeah, so what I'm feeling right now is my shoulder blade, it would easily start coming up, and I'm listening to my body. It's unlocking, so I'm trying to open that shoulder up, and the entire spine system right here, my lats, are coming undone.
And if you remember all the stretches that we did when we were standing, a lot of them were focusing on the shoulder and dropping the shoulder down, getting the shoulder already loosened up. So now we're able to focus more with the spinal of this rotation. So the shoulders, you can see that his shoulders are definitely more relaxed. And it releases more, it opens up. As we said with the key, it opens up everything.
All right. So you're gonna do that each side for 1 minute. And now what we do are called hip crossovers. So I'm gonna go back down. And I'm gonna go on my back. I'm gonna bring my ankle, bring my left leg, my left ankle to my right knee. I'm gonna bring my hands out to the side. Head back. And I'm gonna drop the ankle and the foot down. And I'm gonna turn my head to the left.
And with this stretch, again, enter everything cautiously. If you're not able to cross your legs over, you can start with your knees and ankles together as we started with the under pose. You can do that. And just hold.
So what I'm feeling right now is I'm feeling the lower part of my body starting to stretch right now. And I feel a lot of the tension coming out. And I'm pushing my left leg against my right knee, engaging it.
And the difference with this pose versus the last one he had his hand on his knee as the underarm opened up. This he has both arms opening up, which is opening up the chest, which in return is opening up the whole core, which is the frontal, the side, and the posterior. How's that feel?
Oh, great. So you're gonna do that for 1 minute, and we're gonna switch sides. So let's go to the other side. Leg back up. You're gonna bring the right foot, the right ankle over to the left knee. Arms are out, palms facing down. I'm gonna drop the left leg and the right over. I'm gonna bring my head over to the right, and I'm gonna be pushing my right leg against my left knee.
And with these stretches, you'll definitely find out if you have one side that is more flexible than the other. And if you do not have, again, or you don't want to go down on the floor, can you do this in a chair? Absolutely. And it's just a matter of crossing your ankles behind each other. So my knees are pointing at 1, 2 o'clock. My feet are behind. I'm just going to open up. Since my knees are going to the right, I'm going to look to the left.
So one of the things I was just noticing in my body, Sheree, was my shoulders started to roll up. Mm-hmm. And that was a natural adaptive response what my body was doing to say, don't go there.
Okay.
So as I started feeling that, I had to start focusing, saying, roll those shoulders back down, relax, get into the posture of it.
Okay. So right now, are both of your shoulder blades on the floor?
They are. So they were moving upwards because everything was tight in my lower body, so it was responding by kind of cheating. So as I noticed that and I listened to my body, I said I had to sink into it.
So great checkpoints with this would be making sure that your shoulder blades are touching the floor. It makes sure your leg, the one that is crossing over the top, is pressing up against the leg that is making the contact with the floor, and making sure you're looking where you want to go. So as you see, Brian's going right, so he's looking to the right.
So if you think about the very first couple things we did about moving your neck to the left to the right, I'm getting that fully activated right now. We did the turns with the pelvic to the left and right. I'm getting my full spine engaged right now. So my neck, my head, spine, pelvic, all activated right here. We're gonna come out of that.
It's going to be so interesting to see how everybody, their little baseline markers that we did getting started, where they're at after all of this.
Absolutely. So this is one of my favorite moves I do religiously. So if you don't have time to do all these other ones, I recommend one of my favorite ones called the froggy pullovers. So I'll demonstrate it since I'm down here right now.
Yeah, we can demonstrate that.
All right, so what we're gonna do is our knees are gonna be up. Your feet are gonna be together. We're gonna open the knees up, just like a frog would be. Feet are gonna be together down here. You're gonna interlace your hands keeping your shoulders to the mat. I want the pelvis to the mat. Your back should not start arching here. And all we're going to do, take a deep breath in, and then exhale out, dropping the hands down. So at first, everything's a little tight on me right now. It's starting to come down. But I'm noticing my back is starting to arch as I get there. So I'm going to stop there. And I'm going to bring it back up. And I'm going to do 10 of these. Exhale out, dropping it down. I should get a little lower now this next time.
Now, Brian, are your arms straight? Or what is the goal? Is the arms being straight and the back being on the mat?
Yeah, so we want the back. You got a great question. So yeah, we want the back on the mat. I want to keep the arms straight as much as you can. And what I'm trying to do is open the lats up. We're opening our lats up, the shoulders, taking pressure off the spine, and then we're stretching our psoas muscles out here. So let's open that up.
So again, when you think about how do you get your back to the mat, we talk about the pelvic tilt when we were standing, doing the quad stretch. You want to get the same pelvic tilt going. And again, as Brian's doing, breathing in your nose, out your mouth, you will find each time you're able to go a little bit more. Now, what about your shoulders?
Oh, they're opening up right now. They feel great. There's a lot of stress in them. When you're down there, just kind of hold it for a second. Relax, and then bring it back up. So try to do 10.
And this is a full body. Not only does he have his shoulders engaged, his lats, the sides engaged, the abdominal, he's got his legs engaged also. We talk about the lower growth trigger, right here, the hips, the knees, the ankles. He's got those bends going. So this would be a great stretch, you know, kind of emulating with the lower growth trigger on knowing where those compression points are.
So one of the things I didn't mention was when you make it in this position, you'll notice different people that one side can go down further than the other side. And so what we're trying to do is get bilateral movement where both hips are able to open, be flexible together. So like I said, one leg may be more flexible, and the other one's saying, well, how come it's locked up, it's not coming down? So we're trying to get bilateral hip movement going on here.
And that is something too you can do in a chair, and it's just more taking your toes to 10 o'clock and just maybe right here, just the same thing.
What a great variation to that versus getting on the floor.
So, and I think everything that we did today, if you're not able to stand and do it, you can sit and do everything that we did today. So that you can pull that chair up against the wall. So that's the
As
cool
you're
thing.
sitting, we can do the overhead extension by seat. You can do this in your chair class when you sit when we demonstrate that. So as you're sitting, hands locked, we're going to bring above our heads, extending up. Shoulders are going to drop back down. Focus on bringing the shoulder blades together. Chin is up. You can do this right at the office here, or at home, or you can do it standing.
Yeah, and it's great to take those little breaks, especially if you're on the computer, because I know a lot of people are working out of their house right now. You got to take time for yourself. You got to take time to pull away and take care of your body. So, because we need to take care of yourself, and for you to take care of everybody else, you got to take care of yourself.
Oh, we high five.
Oh, okay. Sorry. We got sanitizer.
So, in conclusion, let's just go back to when we started. And why don't we do the let's start with the neck first. So, Sheree, let's just kind of get position, our feet planted, shoulders back, deep breath in, exhale out. Now let's just take that neck to the left, to the right. How does that feel now?
More flexible.
A little bit looser, your shoulders, and dropping away from your ears. Let's go ahead and just sway to the left, to the right. I think everything should be more, definitely should be opened up. This is your first time doing it, still may have some stiffness. So, great. Well, we want to thank the Chamber for allowing us to be part of the community and just being here with you this Friday. It is Good Friday. We hope we were contributed to that. And please go through the entire movements. Do all these. You're going to feel great. Encourage you to do it. I do it. I try to do at least a few of these every day. If I have the time, I will do the full 12 different movements that we went through.
And one thing about this also, if you drink water first, you want to hydrate that body. And if you wake up a little sore tomorrow, that is okay, because these moves takes you and puts different pressures on ligaments, tendons, and actually stretches them, and it may be muscles and ligaments that hasn't been stretched in a while.
So one of the things I was just feeling, I was thinking, how is my body responding since this? If you went back and looked at my feet position in the very beginning, I was standing with one foot out and putting the pressure on this right hip. I noticed when we did the activity of closing our eyes that the majority of my weight was shifting to my right leg. And now I'm standing and I'm finding myself more posturally balanced between my left and the right foot, just by doing those movements. So
Absolutely.
listen to your body, see what's going on, see what you're feeling. And if we can get your body back to posture alignment, you'll start feeling great again. So stay safe during the next couple of weeks of this time. Have a great Easter weekend. Thank you very much, Chamber, community. Look forward to seeing you when we're done.